Okay, everybody, it's Bob again. Today I'm going to be talking about Violator #1 by Alan Moore and Bart Sears. And I remember collecting this back in the day, being a huge Spawn fan, being a huge Todd McFarlane fan, and getting all of the spin-off comics that people were doing. And I had enjoyed Neil Gaiman's Angela miniseries, which I wish I still had. I'm going to a comic store today. I may be able to pick those up if I'm lucky, because I wouldn't mind owning them again. But I do have the first two parts of this three-part miniseries by Alan Moore and Bart Sears. And I remember reading this back in the day, and this may have been my actual, this would have been the second time I was introduced to Alan Moore. I didn't read Swamp Thing at that time. I've since read it, and think it is definitely one of the better portions of a comic overall. Is the series part that Alan Moore had written for Swamp Thing was brilliant. It was amazing. And again, it was something that I read just, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and am currently rereading right now. And the first thing that I had for Alan Moore, my first introduction to him was actually Spawn #8, which was a story that I enjoyed. I liked it. But when we get to this is one that just did not do it for me. I don't know. It was just very weird to me. I just didn't like the story or the characters, or I actually like Bart Sears' artwork. I remember he used to do a thing in Wizard Comics teaching you how to draw comics, and I learned a lot from that. But I don't know, for some reason with this title, it just did not do it for me at all. Like, everything about this I was not a big fan of. So you have the Fleabiak brothers here, looking through like a blood window, checking in on their little brother Violator, and talking, and you're getting a bit of personality from each one, which is something that Alan Moore is good with. Especially, each of them are separated by their word bubbles, so you can kind of tell who it is that's speaking. And then our first picture here is getting to the Violator about to be thrown in the water by the mob. Okay, and that's Tony Twistelli, which I believe Tony Twist was the name that Tom McFarlane used for this mobster. That eventually ended him in trouble. So again, I'm a big fan of Bart Sears' artwork normally. Just never liked anything that was in this book. I mean, it's definitely clear storytelling and everything, but there was just something about it. I hated his Violator. I did not like his Violator, and I'm going to show you why in further down the road here. These guys, like, being this weird bow-legged, I don't know, that just, I used to sit here and stare at this picture forever, like, why was this the choice that you did here, or whatever. Like, the angles and everything are great, you know, the artwork is good. He's done everything correctly. It's just that, I don't know, it's not something that I look at and say, hey, this is, you know, it just bothers me. I don't know. Well, anyway, they're about to throw Violator into the water. He's got his feet in a cement block here. But Violator then bites the tie of one of these mobsters and pulls him down with him when they throw him in there. Now, of course, Violator's hands are tied behind his back and everything, and they start sinking in the water. Violator breaks through those restraints and is able to take the gun from this guy and shoot him. Okay? So shoots him through the mouth here. Okay. Oh, I should probably warn people that this is an incredibly bloody comic. It's a 90s comic, and it was by people who wanted to get away from the Comics Code Authority and do whatever they wanted to do without being held back. And that's pretty evident here in this story, okay? Um, so then the Violator uses the gun to shoot through the concrete at his own feet, breaks free, and while still holding this guy's tie in his mouth, swims back to the surface. These mobsters go down to the beach area where they hope to find the guy that was just taken into the water by the Violator. And they do find him. He's sitting here, he looks all messed up, and, they're just like, dude, you don't look so good. And he's like, yeah, I know, I'm suffering from this giant hole in my head. And then the Violator puts his hand through that head with this gun here to take out the rest of the party. I didn't count how many bullets were being used there. It's a 6-shooter, I thought. Yeah, the Violator's using a 6-shooter. So I'm assuming, Alan Moore's not one to not handle that correctly. But the Violator takes care of. See, I think another thing that I get here is that a lot of this is done in these first-person perspectives. We're getting a lot of first-person here with the Fleabag brothers. We get first-person here with this mobster guy that's about to be killed by Violator. That takes place a lot in this book, and again, for some reason, it just didn't do anything for me. You would think that would work, and it probably did. A lot of other people probably looked at this and said, "Hey, I love it. It's a great idea." It just didn't do it for me. For me, all we're getting is just a lot of hands. We're just getting a lot of hands everywhere, and that's all we get to see of these characters or whatever. Or we get to see what they're seeing, but and then here we go over to Tony Tristelli again, where we're going to get 2 pages of his first person perspective, his point of view, okay? And we have, 2 of his enforcers here when this hitman comes in, and the hitman is the Admonisher, right? So the guy just leans over the desk here, and he's like, who do you want me to have a word with? And he says, well, let me see here, Jake and Larry. And then once he says that, the Admonisher pulls out his guns and shoots both of them. And he's like, anybody else? And Tony Twist is like, actually, I was going to tell them to set up the projector to tell you who your target was, but now I'll just do that myself. Okay, that's good comedy. It worked. Bart Sears has to be a master of drawing in order to pull off the things here that Alan Moore wants him to pull off, and do it in a way where, it tells the story and we can see it. We don't have any questions as to what's going on here. He did an amazing job with it. Just again, not the thing that I like. Like we're not even getting the Admonisher's face here. So if we're doing Tony Twist's point of view, Tony Twist is just looking at his hands the whole time. As this guy leans over his desk, he never looks him in the face or so. I don't know. So I'm just saying, again, to me, it was something that didn't really work. But now we get away from that, and we have a back shot here of the Admonisher looking at these cameras, showing the Violator. And this guy's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go kill the guy real quick. And Tony Twist is like, no, you don't want to do that because this guy, is way tougher than he looks. So you might want to be like Teddy Roosevelt and tread softly and carry a big stick. And this guy's like, this Roosevelt guy sounds dangerous. Want me to talk things over with him too? And Tony Twist is like, well, Roosevelt's already dead. And the Admonisher is like, yeah, he sure is. Okay. I mean, again, good jokes here, I do like this picture because we're getting, a picture of a person here finally. And, I know that the Violator is just an ugly character. Like he was drawn that way with, by Todd McFarlane in the beginning. I'm confused here because I could have swore that back here, Violator had that head on the other arm, it looks like. So it was on his right hand. And then over here it's on his left hand. I don't know. I'm just saying, So I don't think this is supposed to be like a mirror image of what they're looking at. It should be more like, you're watching it on a TV or something, even though they're literally watching it on pools of blood that they're pulling from their victims here. Probably forgot to mention that in the beginning. Um, these creatures are hell demons, so, they're doing horrible things to the people that are in hell, as you can see here. Okay. So we have Violator. He goes to a mall. All right. Um, with a head stuck to his arm. The wrong arm, I would think. But I don't know what the thinking is here about going to a mall. Like, he says that he went to a hardware store to get a hacksaw. And his first choice was to do a mall thing or whatever. I mean, I get that he doesn't care, but he is powerless now. He's lost all his demonic powers. They were taken from him, so he's now just this short, fat guy with, like, I don't know. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, and it hasn't been shown completely yet. And I don't know if it's just because Bart Sears didn't know what to do with the Violator's legs, but they're just lumps. They're just folds. I don't know if he's thinking that it's like a cellulite or something. Like, his arms are incredibly buff in tone here. But when we get the legs are just this, the pants are like folding in under these like lumps and everything. It was just a thing that I did not like when I would see this. This face and this face, I'm getting two completely different faces here. Even though both of them are good. And then these big, I call them butt knuckles, right? So, like, Bart Sears is great at drawing hands. He really is. But, man, he really defines a knuckle here, puts a crack in the middle of it, and they look like butts on your hand. So they're just butt knuckles. I don't know. Again, that was just a thing that would eat me alive. Now, I've seen Bart Sears work before on other comics. Like, I own all of the Justice League Europe comics that he drew most of. And I loved his artwork on there. Just loved it. I'm going to be reviewing those books in the future. But when it came to this, like, yes, it's an Image comic, so we're getting insane detail with everything. And as you can see, we're definitely getting that. And Bart Sears is great with that. We're getting veins and musculature everywhere. But the butt knuckles, I don't know. It's just a thing. And then, again, with everything being in these first-person views and everything, it's like all we're getting are butt knuckles. It's a book of butt knuckles, okay? But, as the Violator is going through this mall, again, looking for a hardware store in order to get a saw to cut this head off, the Admonisher jumps in. I guess, maybe he monitors police bands and they've already called it in because there's a guy with an empty gun, I would assume, walking through a mall with a head on his hand. So the Admonisher comes in to take care of him and just jumps through a window. And I guess throws, or they both fall off of the second floor into this fountain here where the Violator gets out and he starts taking an escalator up. Now, like, the animation here is amazing. You've got the Violator running up this escalator here. We have 3 panels, and we can see the Admonisher flipping through the air to land in front of the Violator. The musculature here is extreme. This is the 90s, so it's definitely supposed to be extreme. As we can see here, Violator's legs, again, are just like rice pudding poured into some pants. It's very weird artistic choice, again, with the legs there, but it's just something that always ate away at me whenever I would read this comic. With the way that the Violator is kind of so cartoonish in everything that he does and looks at, but then the people that we're getting here are done in a much more realistic way. I feel like, it just doesn't come off right because of that. Okay. But here we go with the Fleabag brothers again, opening up a new person to get more blood. apparently the blood doesn't last long, or it doesn't pool long, or whatever. In order for them to watch their brothers, so they have to keep killing these people they have in a cage here in order to get the blood. And of course, we got more butt knuckles. You know, it's what's in here. Butt knuckles, butt knuckles. Everything is butt knuckles. This man is drawing butt knuckles everywhere. Okay, but here we have the Admonisher, and he's about to take out the Violator with a perfect shot here. This is a beautiful page here. Everything. This guy is like still puking and crying. It's a disgusting picture, but it's, you know, it's good, and because it's supposed to be disgusting, so it's wild to see. But yeah, he's bursting through these people as an Admonisher is about to take him out. And I guess the arrow that the Admonisher fired had a grenade tip on it, so it blows up because he missed the Violator, and I don't believe that the Violator was that far away. But here we go. Like here's his lumpy pants. Like, what is this? Again, all the anatomy up here says something else, but then, you know, even like the socks and the feet, like I don't get what was happening here. And I guess he only had whatever Tom McFarlane had drawn originally to work with. But I don't know, it just seems so weird to me that he would go with this when he has such a kind of realistic style, or, you know, he has an anatomy thing. He's very good with anatomy, in my opinion. So seeing this just, you know, didn't work. But as that explosion takes place, things start getting a little weird. Like it's getting really hot inside the mall, and things are melting, and things are growing, and it's changing from a mall into hell. And the Violator's like, yeah, I know this smell. I've known this smell for a while, and I'm starting to get a bad feeling here. And then we can see one of the word bubbles is from one of the Fleabag brothers. And what we get here is a splash page of them surrounding the Violator and saying, hey, we're here. And I'm guessing, I don't know if they came to help him or if they came to kill him. I can't, you know, I haven't read the second one yet, and I haven't read through these. This is a great splash page here. I actually love all of the different Fleabag brothers here. All of them their names begin with a V. So, of course, you know, we're left with a to be continued. And there we go. That was it. So it was basically the Violator got away from the mob, and then the mob hired somebody. All of this happened pretty quickly, it seems like. So I need to understand this, because the Violator was being thrown into the water by the mob, and Tony Twist was there until Tony Twist left, okay? So here we go, where, you know, they're all here throwing him into the water. Twist leaves, okay? They throw him into the water. He comes out after killing this guy, kills the other guys that were here, right? So none of them could be witnesses that go back to Tony and say, hey, the Violator's still alive. So it's like Tony went straight back to his hideout or place or whatever, his business, and hired a hitman immediately who just showed up in order to get the Violator, who he thought was already dead. So that seems weird to me, because we're going, you know, the Violator got out of the water and raced to a mall to get a hacksaw here. So, I don't know. The timeline seems very weird. I don't see how they could have had the time to do anything. It hasn't been days, because, like, it's still the same head on his arm or whatever. I don't know. It just doesn't give the impression of being, like, days have passed or anything where they can say, hey, the Violator's still alive. None of the witnesses survived. They just immediately... So, I don't know. That one seems weird coming from Alan Moore. Maybe it wasn't a giant concern to him. I don't know. It just seems weird that, I don't know, that would work in that manner. So anyway, that was Violator #1. Not my favorite of the Spawn titles. So, guys, again, thanks for watching. I'm probably going to do the second and third parts of these later on in the future to do a complete story of it. But I have to say again, this was not one of my favorites. It wasn't something that was enjoyable for me. If you guys like the video, please do me a favor and hit like. It helps my channel grow. If you want to see more videos, hit subscribe so you know when more videos come out. I am making videos daily so that I'm always producing some more content. Also, I am a comic book artist. As you can see here, this is my character Ghost Girl. This is a comic I'm currently working on that should be completed in the next month or two. So if it's something that you think you might be interested in, again, subscribe so that way you can get any new information concerning this comic. So guys, again, thanks for watching, and until next time.